What is something you did that increased your quality of life so much that you wished you would have done it much sooner because it changed your life forever? Learning to always keep my keys in the same place. Please teach my GF this. It happened far too many times that I left my keys at home. Now my neighbor has one set, my business partner has a set in his office, and I keep one set in a safety deposit box at my bank. I've even buried a set in the woods nearby my house. I'm never getting locked out again, knock on wood. If someone asks me to do something and it will take me 5 minutes or less to do it, I'll do it immediately. It doesn't sound like a lot, but I never realized how much stuff I put off until later and then promptly forgot about. Also, once you've done one 5-minute task, it's easier to just go and do the next. I became much more productive and saved myself a lot of time and effort at the same time. The 5-minute rule is awesome. I've already incorporated this into my lovemaking. As a kid I read books all the time. Then I quit for some reason. Got married, had kids, started a business. Never any time for reading. Last year, at 45, I started reading books again. What a fool I was to ever stop. I got locked up for missing a court date for a week or so. Never left my cot. Just read. I loved it, was sore from lack of movement. But I'd love to do that again, minus jail, of course. Same. Anytime the topic of jail comes up I just talk about all the reading you can get done in there. I was sore from sleeping on a wooden bed more than the lack of movement. Honestly, shaving my head. As someone who started losing hair at age 20, had the old monk bald spot by 23, and horseshoe by 25, it took me until 29 to say fuck it, I'm shaving. I have a lot more confidence and have gotten compliments species of it. This is huge. Taking control of your look is much more commanding than trying to salvage a bad situation. I'm glad you found what works for you. The confidence it gave me got me into improving my life in other aspects too. I got my first serious girlfriend in like 10 years BC. I wasn't so self-conscious about it. Just overall snowball effect that has gotten me into a much better place. I had a decayed wisdom tooth with an exposed nerve, and I lived with it for 10 years, when I didn't have dental or disposable income. My life changed the day I had it pulled. If there's something wrong with your teeth, find a way to get it taken care of. I spent a decade in pain whenever I drank something cold or chewed on the left side of my mouth, and I could have had it corrected much sooner if I'd had my act together. For anyone else with a bad tooth problem and no dental insurance, go see your local dentist, and tell him/her about your financial situation. Some will work with you on a repayment plan, even if it takes a while for you to come up with the money. Also, some tooth problems, a tooth abscess, for example, can be fatal due to the infection spreading if you don't get it taken care of, so you'll want to get it taken care of sooner rather than later. Applying for a job I didn't think I was qualified for. It doubled my salary and let me move to a place I'd only ever dreamed of living in. This gives me hope. I'm terrified of interviews because I feel like such a fraud, so I can't even apply. But I also cannot stand the thought of staying in my current job forever. Imposter syndrome is awful, but after all, aren't we all capable of learning? Going way beyond your comfort zone is one good way of growing. Getting a job I didn't hate. I'm so much happier now even though I'm making half as much. My version of this is getting a job that paid me money, and that I like. I tried pursuing a career that I thought I'd love, but it turns out I hated it and I was poor as hell. So yeah, my life is infinitely better after finding something that I enjoy but that also provides a stable income that allows me to budget and save and travel and generally be an adult. Any advice on finding what is it that you don't hate doing? It feels like no matter which, I'd grow tired and hate it. In my experience you pretty much have to try things for yourself to see if you like them. Get a job in a field you think you might want to work in, and if you don't hate doing the bottom of the ladder grunt work, that's probably the place for you. Working out and eating right. The thing I would add here is how to work out and eat right. I fell into so many traps that didn't work, and then I also let diet and exercise feel like a stressful punishment. For reference, I've lost 60 pounds and kept it off for 2 years after failing multiple times. Loved every second of it, and I did it on my terms and still ate lots of cake and pizza. 6 years ago I decided to never be late to anything ever again. My whole life up until that point I was always late to everything, school, birthdays etc. Anyway, making sure I'm on time saves me a lot of trouble and a lot of stress and anxiety. Also, everyone I know, who has noticed it, really appreciate it. Being on time for plans shows that you care about people, and that they are important to you. Making decisions based on what I really want, not on what I think others want or expect of me. It was always so easy to put others' needs first, because it meant that I never had to take the trouble to figure out what I really wanted, or to negotiate with others to get it. Just go along with everyone else. That's easy and makes you likable. But it doesn't make you happy, because it means your needs are often not being met. The real turning point for me was the realization that wanting something does not instantly equate to a decision to go out and get it. Verbalizing a desire is not tantamount to forcing your will on others. For example, if someone asks you what you want to eat, instead of saying "oh whatever you want, I don't mind," there's nothing wrong with stating your preference, saying that you're open to other ideas and entering into a negotiation to find some common ground. People actually appreciate you being clear about what you want. It makes things easier for everyone. For bigger stuff, once you realize you want something, sit with it for a bit. Then ask yourself, how moral do I think my desire is? Can I proceed without damaging my integrity? What are the practical/other ramifications for myself and others? Can you live with whatever decision you make? If you are missing vital information from others, ask them for it to help you decide. Most importantly, don't waste time wondering about whether you're allowed to want something. You do already, so that's that. Just acknowledge the desire, then set about deciding whether you're going to go out and get it. That way, even if you decide not to, you'll know what the desire is and why you're not fulfilling it, rather than shutting it down automatically at the source. I'm so much happier now. Not being afraid to admit when I'm wrong. For years, I was obsessed with being correct about everything. This semester, one of my professors said that it's okay if we are not experts in the material yet. From then on, I've actually been better at admitting when I do not know an answer or saying the wrong answer in class without cringing/hating myself. It's not a mistake to be wrong, it's a mistake to not learn from your mistake, not to evaluate where it went wrong, to not try to improve yourself, and to reduce the chance of repeating the mistake. I say reduce because it's often impossible to 100% prevent a mistake from repeating itself, and that's perfectly okay too, as long as you can honestly say I tried. I started drinking at a young age mostly because I was shy and introverted, and it helped me come out of my shell. It was a way to be able to talk to people. It became a crutch. I've had some great times, but since I've stopped drinking at the late age of 64, I'm beginning to feel so much better and wonder how different and more fulfilling my life could have been if I'd just tackled my insecurities when I was younger rather than turning to alcohol. The important thing is you have now, so enjoy it. Better than being 85 and stopping, wondering what your 60s and 70s could have been like. Now you're free to enjoy all those years. Stopped assuming that people's thoughts about me were at all similar to that extremely critical voice in my head. It's still somewhat of a struggle to stay positive. But, overall, being yourself and staying present when with others really reduces anxiety. Peaceful would be a good word to describe it. One of the best things a mentor told me was nobody cares as much about you as you do about yourself. And he didn't mean it in a condescending way, just that nobody is thinking as much about anyone else as they are about themselves. Felt so relieved after that aha moment. I got a lot of house plants to put all over my house. Makes my home environment look beautiful and feel homey, fresh, and just all around better. If you have any pets, make sure to look up what plants are safe for your furry friend before purchasing a plant. Buying all the same socks. No more folding, no more matching, no more looking for missing sock brothers. Just throw them all in a drawer, reach in, grab two and get your day started right. That sounds heavenly. Admitting that I needed a therapist. As a teenager with strict parents, if I was caught saying anything against them I was automatically grounded, so I couldn't let out my emotions and I felt like a double agent in my own house. With a therapist, I could work through my problems without the risk of being in trouble. Taking fiber supplements. I now shit like clockwork, twice a day, and even after a night of drinking, I have never had more than a 3-wipe to clean. I'll never go back to not taking them. The quality of my shits has just been absolutely magical. I wish I knew of this sooner. Try it for a month, you'll never want to stop. No more peanut butter in a shag carpet, no more mud streaks, no more wiping yourself raw, it's life-changing. That's some good shit. Keeping a guitar pick in my pocket so that I can scratch my testicles in public discreetly. We're living in 2019 while this guy's in 3019. Not giving a fuck. Like literally not giving a single shit. I've been trying to spin my existential crisis in a positive manner. We are microspecks on a speck of rock floating through infinity. And one day we will die and it'll be over. So who gives a fuck about asking the girl out and being rejected? Who gives a fuck about looking like a fool while dancing? None of this shit matters, so do what makes you happy, cause literally nothing will matter afterwards. I've learned the adage of will this matter in 6 months? Will this matter in 6 days? Will this matter in 6 hours? 99.99% of the time it won't, so just go for it and or stop worrying about it. Works for everything except trying heroin. Get a good cutting/kitchen knife. It's amazing. To just chill out. 90% of the time, I mess things up not because they were difficult or impossible, but because of my own anxiety and perfectionism that led to procrastination. Honestly, just chill the F out. You're a small stardust skeleton in a huge universe, stop being dramatic.
Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.